For more now, we're joined by Arizona Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego. Senator, thank you so much for your time. You, of course, sit on the Homeland Security Committee and want to see dramatic changes to ICE. What would those changes look like?
Well, the changes are what I think the American public wants. They want this immigration enforcement to act like we expect our local police officers to act. You need to be using warrants. You need to have your masks off. You need to have body cameras on. You need to respect the civil rights of the people you're dealing with. We need to have these massive suppression efforts that you see going on in these cities that are aimed more at intimidation than actually enforcement. And you need to actually have a real leadership and accountability, especially when it comes to some really hard times. Right now, we don't see any of that, and I think the American public is asking for that.
If DHS funding does lapse, that of course could mean that federal workers like TSA could go without pay. Any message to TSA workers who may be looking at the possibility of not being paid and won't understand why?
Well, I mean, it's very easy to understand why. The Republicans have a really good opportunity for us to continue working together to have good immigration enforcement, secure the border, and at the same time have respect for American citizens. The type of racial profiling that's occurring right now, the type of violence that's being done by some of these untrained ICE agents, this feeling that they can go into houses without any search warrants, that's entirely irresponsible. So when this shutdown happens, if it happens at all, it could be entirely upon the Republicans.
Are you optimistic that you all will be able to come together to have a deal?
Look, I'm not optimistic, not from what I've heard so far. But from what I hear from the American public, they think ICE has gone overboard. They want immigration enforcement. They want it done in a sane manner, one that respects U.S. Civil rights. They expect it to be humane, stop separating families, go after criminals. But what we're seeing right now and what we saw in Minneapolis with 2 U.S. citizens being killed in less than 2.5 weeks shows what happens when there is no accountability for a massive force that has been thrown upon a city like Minneapolis.
As you just mentioned, Americans in polls have broadly disapproved of the job ICE is doing, but by and large, polls show voters trust Republicans to handle immigration. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, when I ran my election, I was actually voted as more trusted than the Republican in terms of Border Patrol, border security, and immigration enforcement. And I think where the public wants right now is a happy medium. They want a secured border, which I think we could all agree has happened, and we are all very happy that it's happened. At the same time, they want sane immigration enforcement, which means going after criminals and not bringing more chaos into our streets, not separating families.
You were elected in a red state in 2024 as a Democrat. You've spent the past several months visiting key early primary states like Nevada, Iowa, and Pennsylvania. Should your constituents read anything into this with regard to the 2028 run for the White House?
No, I mean, we are actually going to all parts of this country, not like the states that everyone just focuses on, because what we know is that our message about focusing on the cost of living, giving people, working class American, a chance at the American dream, a chance to actually buy a home, start a family, start a business, do the simple things that maybe give you a little stability in life. I don't know, take a vacation once in a while. That is missing from this generation, a lot of generation of Americans, is a winning message, and that we need to teach other Democrats how to do that, because we're going to do better when other people understand that working class America is hurting right now. They just want to be able to live the same American dream that their parents have lived. We know how to campaign on that. I want to teach other Democrats how to do that, because when they win, the American public wins, and we actually finally have a chance to really truly live at the American dream.
And since you have traveled to these various states, you have an ear to the ground, kind of a pulse or a thermometer, if you will, of the American voter. Do you have any sense of what will happen in the midterm elections?
Look, I think right now the American public is very frustrated. They've been working and working and working, and they're still not making it. They can't pay the bills. They can't actually save a little. They don't feel any lift of any type of weight off their shoulders at all. They were promised that by Donald Trump. They gave him enough time to actually get that, but what he has done since being in the White House has not been concentrating on them.
Arizona Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a good one.